Winter, 1998. The wind howls through the narrow alleys of Minneapolis, carrying with it the brittle scent of frost and diesel. Snow clings to the edges of cracked sidewalks, muffling the city's usual rhythm. On the fourth floor of an aging apartment block at 1129 Hennepin Avenue, a door stands closed. Apartment 12. From the hallway, nothing seems unusual. A faint hum of a refrigerator, the glow of a weak ceiling light. But behind the door lies a secret so cold, so meticulously hidden, it would take months for anyone to uncover it. This is the story of Apartment 12 and the man who froze time literally. It begins with a smell. Neighbors notice at first a faint, metallic sweetness seeping beneath the door, the kind of scent that clings to memory, that makes stomachs turn and thoughts darken. They complain to the building superintendent. He shrugs. In winter, the pipes rot, the vents clog, the air gets strange. But by late February, the odor is undeniable. Calls are made. The police arrive. It's a Thursday morning when officers pry open the door of Apartment 12, and what they find inside defies belief. The air is still, too still. The heater is off, but the chill is deliberate. Every window is sealed shut, layers of duct tape pressed along the frames. In the center of the living room stands a large chest freezer, unplugged, frosted over, its lid weighed down with a stack of books. When detectives lift the lid, the truth emerges limb by limb, layer by layer. Inside, beneath sheets of plastic and ice, is a body, preserved, perfectly still. The tenant of Apartment 12 had kept a secret that the winter alone could help him hide. His name was Daniel Richter, 42 years old, soft-spoken, polite, invisible, a janitor at a local high school, known for never missing a day of work. He rented Apartment 12 for nearly 8 years, always paid on time, always kept to himself. To most, he was just another quiet face in a city full of them. But beneath that calm exterior lay something fractured, a man haunted by control, by loss, by the slow erosion of the life he once knew. Investigators comb through his belongings. In a drawer, they find newspaper clippings, missing person reports, dating back to 1996. Each article neatly cut, laminated, and labeled. In his closet, stacks of notebooks filled with precise handwriting, diagrams, and lists of grocery items. Ice, plastic wrap, duct tape, cleaning solvents. And then, in the corner of the freezer room, another chilling discovery: a photograph of a woman, smiling, carefree. Her name, Laura Bennett, 29, reported missing 11 months earlier. She had lived just a few blocks away. DNA confirms the impossible. Laura Bennett is the one in the freezer. Laura's disappearance had baffled detectives for nearly a year. She was a freelance illustrator, known among friends for her vibrant energy and constant laughter. One winter night, she left a CAF near Loring Park after meeting a client. She never made it home. No signs of struggle, no credit card activity, no trace. For months, her family searched. Flyers plastered on lampposts wilted in the cold. Candlelight vigils faded into silence. The case went cold until the freezer in Apartment 12 was opened. Through interviews and phone records, investigators begin to piece together a pattern. Daniel and Laura had crossed paths briefly, a maintenance request at her old apartment building. He fixed a leaky pipe. She thanked him with coffee. To her, it was a small act of kindness. To him, it was a connection that never let go. He began following her quietly, tracking her routines, collecting fragments of her life. Receipts, discarded sketches, even her social media posts. Each detail fed a growing obsession. In his mind, she wasn't gone. She was preserved, an idea, frozen in perfection. Psychologists later call it preservative delusion, a fixation on stopping decay, not just of bodies, but of moments. Daniel's notebook suggests a man trying to hoard time itself. One passage reads, "When the air is cold enough, nothing changes. No rot, no pain, only peace." For weeks after Laura vanished, neighbors heard nothing unusual from Apartment 12. The building itself became a cocoon, silent hallways, thick with the hum of old pipes. Daniel went to work every day, came home at sunset, and rarely turned on the lights. Inside the apartment, he lived beside his secret. The freezer ran constantly, drawing power from a tangle of extension cords. He slept on the couch, ate canned soup, wrote in silence. Outside, the city thawed into spring. Inside, winter never left. When the freezer finally failed that February morning, it wasn't time or conscience that exposed him, it was the machinery. The delicate ecosystem of control he'd built finally melted, revealing the truth he'd tried so hard to preserve. Detectives dig deeper. The autopsy reveals that Laura died from blunt force trauma. likely the night she disappeared. There are no signs of prolonged suffering, only a single decisive act. What followed was methodical. Daniel had cleaned the scene, transported the body, and engineered a system to keep it frozen indefinitely. Every step suggests precision, not passion. As the investigation expands, more unsettling evidence surfaces. Fingerprints link Daniel to another missing woman, a transit last seen in 1995. But there is no physical trace of her. Detectives speculate, was she his first attempt? His first experiment in control? The media descends. Headlines scream of the Freezer Man of Minneapolis. Tabloids sensationalize him as a monster of ice and obsession. But those who knew him describe something quieter, an emptiness that grew into horror. The courtroom is packed. Cameras flash. Prosecutors lay out the chilling evidence. The notes, the freezer, the pattern. The defense argues insanity, citing delusional disorder, an inability to distinguish preservation from possession. But the jury sees the meticulous planning, the calculations, the purchases, the months of concealment. After 3 days of deliberation, Daniel Richter is found guilty of first-degree murder. As the verdict is read, he remains motionless, a statue of his own making. No outburst, no remorse, only a faint exhale, like air escaping an empty chamber. He is sentenced to life without parole. The freezer, the notebooks, the clippings all locked, sealed, and stored in evidence. Apartment 12 is cleared out, repainted, rented again within the year. But the cold lingers even after the heaters come back on. In the months that follow, Apartment 12 becomes a quiet legend among tenants. New residents claim to feel drafts in the corners, to hear the faint hum of machinery at night. Some say it's imagination. Others swear the air feels colder near the spot where the freezer once stood. For Laura's family, closure is bittersweet. Her body was found, but her story ended in someone else's obsession. Her art, once filled with warmth and color, is exhibited posthumously, a celebration of the life she lived, not the way it ended. Detectives reflect on the case often. They describe it as one of control, a man's futile attempt to master impermanence. In freezing what he loved, he destroyed it. In the months that follow, Apartment 12 becomes a quiet legend among tenants. New residents claim to feel drafts in the corners, to hear the faint hum of machinery at night. Some say it's imagination. Others swear the air feels colder near the spot where the freezer once stood. For Laura's family, closure is bittersweet. Her body was found, but her story ended in someone else's obsession. Her art, once filled with warmth and color, is exhibited posthumously, a celebration of the life she lived, not the way it ended. Detectives reflect on the case often. They describe it as one of control, a man's futile attempt to master impermanence. In freezing what he loved, he destroyed it. The case of Apartment 12 is not just about murder. It's about the human fear of change, of decay, of endings, of letting go. History is filled with such stories. Kings preserving bodies in tombs, scientists chasing immortality, lovers trying to hold on to fading moments. Daniel Richter's freezer was a modern sarcophagus, a shrine to stillness. But nothing, not even ice, can stop time. It only delays the inevitable. Today, the building on Hennepin Avenue still stands. The hallway has been repainted, the locks replaced. The door to Apartment 12 opens easily now, revealing nothing more than a quiet, ordinary space. But for those who know its story, the air still feels heavy, like the echo of a winter that never ends. The freezing secret of Apartment 12 reminds us of a chilling truth. The desire to preserve can become its own form of destruction. To freeze time is to deny life itself the change, the warmth, the decay that define our humanity. And so, as snow once again blankets Minneapolis, the city moves forward. The apartment remains occupied, its walls repainted, its ghost silent. But the memory endures in the archives, in the whispers, in the quiet shiver that runs down the spine of anyone who passes the door. Because some secrets never truly thaw.